Hello, everyone. Sorry it's taking me so long to do this again. I am still a little under the weather, still got a little Vicks slathered under my nose to try and help with that. It's mostly my chest that's congested now, though, partly because of allergies. Please subscribe to my channel. Feel free to like my videos and share them on social media. And feel free to leave comments. I may critique your comments, but feel free to leave them anyway. So I was watching this and I thought it was very, very interesting. They did the top 10 songs of all time. There are 8 characters left. They introduced the one wild card character that is still left, and they gave very few extra clues. However, my opinion for almost every single character has changed as far as who I think they are. I was going to actually make a list of the people that I had considered for them. I might do that before the next episode. Because of the World Series, this week's episode actually aired on Monday. It had Miss Maskey on it, who I ironically think might be Melissa McCarthy, just because she said, I have no connection whatsoever to Jenny McCarthy. But anyway, so the next episode is going to air on Tuesday, also because of the World Series. Generally, the World Series has 7 games, so I think that will probably be the last time that it will be scheduled different. I don't know for sure, and I'm wondering whether they are going to go ahead and bring groups A and B together, since there are 8 of them. I don't recall how they did that last season. I think they still had them separate until there were 3 in each group, and then they brought them together, but I don't recall for certain. So they did the top 10 performances of all time, which is what a lot of this is about, because as I said, there were very few extra clues. I was looking at the slow mode, like it has the option to do slow mode, slow yourself down up to 60 seconds. And I'm like, does anyone ever actually do that? If y'all think I'm talking too fast, tell me, and maybe I'll try using that, and then maybe you can understand me better. But I partly have sped up my talking when I do these videos to try and keep people more interested and to make the videos not last as long as they sometimes tend to. So the first performance that was on there was, of course, counted as number 10, which was The Greatest Show by Peacock, who is Donny Osmond. And I think that they changed the order that they did some of this in, because like when Yeti performed, they told us that him and Frog, and said that Frog was Bow Wow. And then whenever they go to do the song that Frog, aka Bow Wow, does, they're like, who was Frog? And I was like, well, duh, if we weren't reading the notes on the screen, maybe we didn't notice that you already told us that Frog was Bow Wow, but okay, whatever, you know. I know they don't always record stuff in order, though, but I thought that was interesting. And then number 9 was the song by Yeti. He sang Lonely. And of course, Yeti was Oh Marion. And then that was when Miss Maskey came on and she said, I'm not related to I'm not related to Jenny McCarthy in any way. And I was like, I bet she's Melissa McCarthy. She might just be a robotic voice, though. I think that's what she said she is, an animated character with a robotic voice. It'd be kind of cool if she was Melissa McCarthy, though. So one of the ones that I did not change my opinion as to who was Caterpillar. I was driving in the car the other day and I heard this song come on the radio, which was Holy, Holy. And I was like, this is Justin Bieber, isn't it? If this is Justin Bieber, then Caterpillar is definitely Justin Bieber. And I had Shazam look it up and it says Holy, Holy was Justin Bieber and a couple of other people. And I was like, yeah, so Caterpillar is definitely Justin Bieber. So some of the things that he said he's going to sing. I just realized that I wrote Face Paste. He said he's going to sing Face Paste group number solo. Actually, he said Fast Paced, not Face Paste. I don't know why I wrote Face Paste. That's funny. But anyway, he said he's going to sing a fast-paced group number solo, so you get the full boy band extravaganza. Like, what if I were a boy band member? Or what if I am? And he said there's a reason why he said no to Dancing with the Stars. So I was like, okay, so he's definitely not Nick or Drew Lachey, who some people had posited that possibly he is, because they were both on Dancing with the Stars. And he also said that something about a bootylicious blessing. I forgot what context that was in exactly. But he's, mentioned his large booty on his outfit quite a few times. But yeah, he said he's a bootylicious blessing. And he did say something about I'll be in sync for my next performance. And then he mentioned his big old booty again. And the masky clue was a boombox, which made me go, maybe he is someone who is older than Justin Bieber then. Perhaps maybe Justin Timberlake, because it did say the in sync thing there. But then sometimes they say stuff like that to actually throw us off, not to lead us to who the person is. But it was a pretty good sized boombox, which makes me think that it might actually be someone that was performing in like the 80s or 90s, like Marky Mark, maybe. But I'm still going with Justin Bieber for him for right now, based on the clues and stuff, because Marky Mark is not from near the Great Lakes and Justin Bieber is. So Pepper was the next one that they talked about. Sorry, I still have a gnat problem, even though I've got like tons of fly tapes hanging up. So anyway, Pepper said coming in as a wild card, she worried that she'd start a little in the hole, which I wondered if that was a clue. Anyway, and she said she's having a fireball. So I was thinking at this point that I was thinking Pepper was Miley Cyrus. So I asked if Miley had ever performed with Pitbull, and they had recorded a song together that's called We Are One. Now, however, Pepper is not the one that I was thinking was Miley Cyrus. It could turn out that that is who she is, but I don't think that's who she is. She said her competitive side has come out strong. Her and Bull used to flirt. Then she heard him performing in his dressing room and realized he was her competition, and it was on. Oh no, I can't be flirting with him anymore. Got to compete against him. And she said she's here to take the bull by the nose, LOL. And her masky clue was a cup of hot tea that looked very big because it was close to the camera, which leads me to Friends again, because when they went to the coffee shop, they drank out of those great big coffee cups that actually look like the soup bowls that have the handle on them. So I was like, yeah, okay. So Courtney Cox was on that one and was like, knock it out of the box, or whatever it was that she said to Pepper, which led me to Lisa Kudrow, who sang a lot on Friends, and the panel has guessed her for several different people in the past. So I'm still leaning toward Lisa Kudrow for Pepper for right now. But just because of that Courtney Cox comment, she could turn out to be somebody totally different. And now the next thing that they showed was Dwight Howard, who was Octopus, which was the one that Ken Jeong guessed right. The very first one eliminated, and the first one that he guessed right, or the only one so far that he's guessed right. So far, he's guessed one right, Nicole's guessed one right, and Jenny has guessed one right. But he was eliminated first, but you could tell whenever he was talking on this episode that he really had a blast, and he was there primarily for his mom, because his mom loves The Masked Singer, and he said that she would love it, and he was looking forward to going home and giving her and his kids a hug. So then they played song number 8, which was by Seahorse, and she sang My Heart Will Go On. And of course, Seahorse had turned out to be Tori Kelly, which is one of the ones I didn't really know who was. Not that that matters, it's still fun to watch and fun to see other people realize who they are. And then Queen of Hearts is actually the one that I was thinking was Miley Cyrus. And the masky clue I remembered from the first time that I watched this. I watched the episode twice, actually, but I remembered from the first time that I watched this episode that her masky clue was an ice cube tray, which a lot of people be like ice tray and thinking about stuff that has to do with ice or whatever. I went ice cube tray, which led me to ice cube. And that's my trusty assistant over here, who isn't always that trusty. If Miley Cyrus, because as I said, Queen of Hearts is actually the one I was thinking was Miley Cyrus, partly because of her heavy Southern accent, the heavy Southern clues concerning sweet tea. And I can't remember what some of the others were, but there were several Southern clues for her. So this trusty, not always so trusty assistant of mine over here, whose name I'm not saying because she will respond if I do, told me that Miley Cyrus was in an Ice Cube movie called The Long Shots with Keke Palmer. Well, I had the knowledge, the logic to go onto Google and look that up. And actually, Miley Cyrus was not in that movie with Keke Palmer, but Debbie Ryan was. So I listened to music by Debbie Ryan yesterday using my trusty assistant over here. And I now believe that Queen of Hearts is Debbie Ryan, partly because I was thinking the body style of Queen of Hearts when they show them wearing their sweatsuit outfits was right for Miley Cyrus, but I forgot that Miley has actually slimmed down a whole lot. And so her thighs would not be as thick as the thighs on Queen of Hearts, who has healthy thighs, not overly large by any means. And so I looked up where Debbie Ryan is from, and she's from Huntsville, Alabama. So she's from further south than Miley is. Miley's from Tennessee, of course. And she said, Queen of Hearts said most times she doesn't even get dressed in her dressing room. Her costume just barely fits through backstage. And she said most of the time she's standing like right off the stage where the camera crew can't see her, and she has on her sweatsuit still, and she slips her costume on there because that's the only place she can get into it. She said her next performance is going to challenge her inner strength and go with the flow. She's planning to sing a ballad, which I thought that I had written down, but apparently I didn't. And her masky clue, as I mentioned, was an ice cube tray. So right now for Queen of Hearts, I'm totally going with Debbie Ryan. If you don't know who Debbie Ryan is, she was on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, especially the ones where they had the ships. So I was telling my son, I was like, so if there are clues for Queen of Hearts that have a hotel or a boat, then yeah, definitely, totally, it's Debbie Ryan. But she's also on the show Jessie. Now, as you recall, Queen of Hearts had the Wizard of Oz clues and stuff about the Tin Man. And Debbie Ryan on Jessie, there was a episode around Halloween that they did where the people on the show dressed up like characters from the Wizard of Oz. She dressed up as Dorothy, and I believe the guy who played her boyfriend on the show, or maybe her best friend, dressed up as the Tin Woodman. So I'm like, there's a definite Wizard of Oz connection right there that a lot of people might not make. And she sings the theme song to the show Jessie. If you haven't heard her sing, you can just watch the intro to Jessie or Google it and be like, yeah, she sings pretty good. She does sing really good. She does not have that many recorded songs that were available over here on this chick, but she has a very good singing voice. And the next one that we had clues on was Mallard. I made a note up at the top concerning Mallard. My sister had mentioned the clippers made her think of Johnny Depp, hair clippers, hair trimmer, because he was in, my brain's saying Edward Scissorhands. That was the one I brought up, Sweeney Todd, the barber of Fleet Street. And I was like, yeah, and he was in Edward Scissorhands, but I don't think he's Johnny Depp. That would be cool, but I don't think he is, because I am still leaning toward him being a country music star. And he mentioned cheerleaders, the kitty ones. He's like, oh, so they're my cheerleaders. And Blake Shelton, dated and is now married to Gwen Stefani, who was a cheerleader. So I thought that was maybe an extra clue for him. He said his next performance, he's giving the panel a top billed country song, What They Want. And his masky clue, as I said, was an electric set of hair clippers. At first I thought it was a beard trimmer, but it was hair clippers, which made me think of a mullet, which Blake Shelton rocked whenever he was recording songs such as Austin. And so, yeah, the dimples, the hair clipper clue, I'm still going with Blake Shelton. And it got me to thinking I never had looked up, I met my wife in the fourth grade clue, which I thought that I remembered him saying something about, we met in the fourth grade. Whenever they were both on a season of The Voice together after they had started dating. But I couldn't find information on that, which they don't want it to be stuff that's easy for us to find. So I looked up when Gwen Stefani joined No Doubt, and she joined them in 1986, I believe it was, when she was 17 years old. Now I know y'all may not want me giving out people's ages, but she's 52 years old. Blake is 45, which makes her 7 years older than him, which means when she was 17, Blake Shelton would have been 10 years old, which puts him in the fourth grade. So very possibly the first year she performed with No Doubt, she performed at a concert that he went to, and perhaps he met her at that concert. It's very likely. Or not maybe very likely, but it's a possibility at least. Trying to do this sort of fast. Man, there's so many characters though in songs. But anyway, so that's my thought on that. I'm still going with Blake Shelton for Mallard. And my sister's going with Johnny Depp. And so number 7 of the top 10 songs was Thingamajig, who sang Rainbow. And he, of course, was Victor Oladipo, who did a great job singing that song. And of course, he's from the NBA, plays for the Miami Heat, or he did at least at the time that he was doing this season of The Masked Singer. And then number 6 sang his song, which was Jump. And of course, as they had told earlier, Frog was Bow Wow. And I said, I guess they forgot they already told who Frog was when Yeti performed number 9 because they were totally like, who's Frog? And I'm like, you done told us who Frog was, but okay. If y'all think you are seeing apparitions float by, it's just the gnats flying by my camera. I apologize again for that. So the next one that performed was Bull, who I was thinking was Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails. He's the lead singer from 9 Inch Nails, and I have changed my mind on that for a few reasons. He can sing anything. We know he has sang, well, I don't know that he's done a country song yet, but he's done multiple types of music. He did hip hop and I think kind of a rock song and some pop songs. He said he loved lying on a couch in the center of the stage dramatically, or he loved dramatically laying on a couch in the center of the stage. He loves taking risks, which led me back to Eminem. But then he said his mom is there to support him. And I went, okay, so definitely not Eminem. Someone who is close with their mom. And I found someone that I think it might be, I might be totally wrong on that. And so that's one of the first, actually the first thing that led me to him not being Trent Reznor was that I asked the chick over here how tall Trent Reznor is. And I believe he's 5'6", 5'7". He's shorter than I thought he was. So I was like, it's probably not him then. And I looked up information about his mother, which was kind of hard to find, but his mother's name was, I'm not going to say his mother's name because I'm probably going to mess it up. I'm wanting to say Mary Lou Clark Reznor, but don't quote me on that because I might be wrong about that. But Trent Reznor's mother did pass away in 2011, so there's no way that his mom can be there with him. Therefore, it's not Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails. Wow, I was looking forward to that. But he said that his mom has been his secret guest while he performs. He likes drama, and his masky clue was black sneakers with white soles. And I was like, those look really familiar, and that kind of took me back to Eminem. But from that, I went a couple of other places. I was like, okay, so he could still possibly be Lance Bass, right? Well, when she shows the black sneakers, she says, step up with this sneaky clue. Can you step up with this sneaky clue to who Bull truly is? Which, of course, led me to Channing Tatum. Now, he said that he was working a steady job when he decided to follow a dream. And for those of you who may not know, Channing Tatum was working in Miami, Florida as an exotic dancer. Most exotic dancers are kind of considered their own bosses. He said that he did become his own boss, but I believe that was in his career, he became his own boss. Now, I may be wrong about some of these. I'm pretty sure that Bull is the one. I know he's the one that had the Disney Theater clue, which was leading me toward Nick Jonas at one point, or Eminem had performed at the Disney Theater, or at Carnegie Hall he performed. I believe he also performed at Disney Theater, though. And so I was like, could these clues be connected to Channing Tatum? Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't seen the Step Up movies, on the first Step Up movie where they do their big performance is at Carnegie Hall. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure that that is correct. And he has done, the only songs I could find for him when I asked my trusty assistant to play songs by him were songs from cartoons, characters that he voiced on cartoons that were singing. He does have an excellent singing voice. One of them was actually a Broadway musical. And I was like, so if he did a cartoon, it was probably a Disney one. maybe not, but it might have been. And it's also possible there were at least 3 Step Up movies, I think possibly 4. It's possible that one of them was partly filmed at Disney Theater or had some part of it that was like maybe they did a performance at Disney Theater. I'm sure that he has some sort of connection to Disney Theater. But we also recall that Bull said that he grew up in a small town surrounded by cows, right? So Channing Tatum moved when he was 6 years old to Pascagoula, Mississippi, where he lived in a rural area. So he was totally surrounded by cows. And the current population from the 2020 census for Pascagoula, Mississippi is 22,000 people. So when he was growing up there, it might have only been, that population had gone down some, but it might have only been like 17, 18,000, which is a pretty small town. Plus, he grew up in the rural part of it. So he was definitely surrounded by cows when he grew up. Now, this brings me to the next person that they showed was Jester, who I am steadfast on who is. As we know, there was a Jack in the Box for his clues. The jacket that was reminiscent to me of a character Jack Black did on Saturday Night Live. He appears to have a strong accent, which we know Jack Black can do accents, various accents. He said he'll do anything for a smile. Said he's like an old haunted house. It's fun not knowing what's right around the corner. And he said his next performance will be the weirdest thing you've ever seen. And so they showed him in his sweatsuit, of course, and he has a bit of a belly, not as big of a belly or as high up as Jester's is, but he does have a bit of a belly, which both of the people that I have considered for him have, which is Gordon Ramsay and Jack Black. And the only thing that had me leaning toward Gordon Ramsay or even thinking Gordon Ramsay, like you go on the internet and everything's like, Gordon Ramsay sings this, Gordon Ramsay sings that, and then it's not actually him singing something. But he has sang, like his daughter challenged him to the TikTok thing, and he sang a little bit of that song. He did decent at it. I feel like if he did try to sing, he would do a good job of singing. But I don't really think that it's him. It was the hens and eggs that led me to Gordon Ramsay, because we all know that Gordon Ramsay is very picky about the way people cook eggs on his cooking shows. So, such as Hell's Kitchen or Master Chef, you know. But so, I don't feel like it's him. To me, when he sings, he sounds exactly like Jack Black, like him singing in Tenacious D. If you haven't heard any of their performances, check them out. If you've seen School of Rock, you've heard Jack Black sing. Most of us have heard him sing. And then so of course, he's very silly and witty. He laid down on the stage and was like, medic, like he couldn't get up. But the masky clue for Jester was a shark. Everyone probably already knows this, along with voicing Kung Fu Panda, Poe on there, of course, the panda himself. Jack Black is the voice of Lenny the shark on A Shark's Tale. So I'm definitely still going with Jack Black for Jester. Though there were several of these that I did change my mind on. Anyway, I guess Pepper, Queen of Hearts, and Bulls, Jester and Mallard and Caterpillar, I stayed the same one. But anyway, so the number 5 of the top 10 performances was Wrecking Ball, sang by B, who of course turned out to be Gladys Knight. She really knocked that song out of the park. Didn't do as good as Miley on it, I don't think, but she did a great job. And number 4 was Fix You, sang by Turtle, who of course was Jesse McCartney. When they showed him before he sang, and I was going, wait, now who is he? Because I was thinking he was Hunter Hayes, and I was like, Hunter Hayes was the astronaut. He wasn't Turtle. I was like so totally confused, but then I figured it out. And of course they told after he performed. So the next one that came out was Banana Split, which is another one that I changed my mind on who is, and I feel like I'm right on this one. Y'all, if you think I'm totally wrong, let me know. But they said one of the things that they learned doing this show together is that they'll never desert each other. It's a little joke there. They seem very, very witty. They said they have separate dressing rooms. So I went, okay, so it's probably not a married couple like I was thinking, possibly Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks. They would probably share a dressing room. But she said it's because he's the diva of the pair. And they said they've been on the ride of a lifetime doing this. And she thinks their strength is how theatrical they are. And he said their strength is her. And she said, "Aw." But they said they almost said no to doing the show together, which again led me to them not being a couple and being like, why would we do the show together? Right. But thankfully they did. They love getting to be playful and goofy, which made me think of some people that are playful and goofy together. Or possibly playful and goofy separate in their own personal lives or whatever. But so at this point, I asked the trusty assistant over here about if Martin Short could play a certain instrument, because I feel that the guy is older and that's why he's choosing to only play piano and sit down. I don't think that it means that he can't necessarily sing. I think that he's allowing her to showcase her voice on the show and him sit down and play the piano. Now, there may come a point where he will sing, but he has kind of implied that that's not going to happen. But Martin Short, when he was a child, learned to play multiple musical instruments. I am not going to name all of them. I asked this chick over here, and she named off about 9 of them, including the piccolo, the flute, at least one other wind instrument. But one of the instruments he learned to play is the piano. And you might know where I'm going with this, since I already said Martin Short. And I'm looking at their body types when they were like standing next to each other, and I'm with the guy looks a little shorter than her. She is wearing heels, and her body is kind of broad at the top and fairly narrow as it goes down. What my dad used to call a boxer's build. And so what I have decided is that it is Martin Short and Selena Gomez. For those of you who may not know, they are on the Hulu original. I believe it's on Hulu. No murders. Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez are on it. They all executive produce it. It's a witty, funny, very good show about a murder that happened in the building where they all live. And they do a podcast about it. Anyway, so I believe that their builds and sizes are basically right to be Martin Short and Selena Gomez. And Martin Short is getting up there in age, so I feel like rather than him going on there dancing around and singing and stuff, perhaps he wanted to sit down. And that's why he's opting for playing the piano while she does the singing and dancing around. He said her voice can win the Golden Mask. And they have the drive and showmanship. And their masky clue, which apparently I didn't write down was a masky clue, but their masky clue is a surfboard. Now, I asked the trusty assistant over here and also Googled, because the trusty assistant, as I've said, is not always so trusty. Selena Gomez, one of her hobbies is surfing. And she has like 3 main hobbies, I think it is. And that is like the first on her list is surfing. And this may sound silly, but it's true. Ask about Martin Short if Martin Short surfs. Not only does Martin Short surf, I almost said Martin Surf Short, but anyway, not only does Martin Short surf, but when he was younger, he worked at a surf shop in Laguna Beach, California, that is called, I think it's called All About Water, something like that. But yes, they're both connected to a surfboard, not just one of them. They're both connected to a surfboard, as a lot of people from California are, or a lot of people who have worked in California. So that might not mean much of anything. But because of the fact they said they have different dressing rooms and they seem to me to not be a couple, I am totally going with Martin Short and Selena Gomez for Banana Split. And this is one that has me confused right now is Skunk. I believe there was at one point that I thought perhaps she was pink. There's some stuff that makes me think that she's probably not pink, and other stuff that leads me kind of back to her. Um, she said she's flattered by the panel's reactions to her performances. Each of the 4 times she's performed, she's been picking songs that really showcase her voice and living up to the legendary songs she picks. And that's her goal, is to pick songs that really showcase her voice and live up to the legendary songs that she does pick. Then she said, and this is part of what got me, because I was thinking, Taraji P. Henson. She said she's not glitzy or glamorous in everyday life. I'm such a man, like in real life. And she was like laughing, they were doing stuff on the stage. And she was like, have to wear heels with this outfit. I'm such a man in real life. And has to wear heels with the costume. She mentioned being a tomboy. She said she has a deep connection to the artist who sings the next song she's performing, and her mask clue, which made me think perhaps of a fashion person or a model. And I forgot to write down who I thought that the other person I think this person might be. But her mask clue was an iron and a bedazzled shoe with an argyle sock. The shoe was a high top sneaker, white, and they were wearing an argyle sock. So I'm going, well, I mean, it could still be Taraji P. Henson. I think I left all my ink pens over this way and reach over here. Drop them all on the floor. Anyway, so yeah, at this point, I'm like, I mean, it could still be Taraji P. Henson. Part of the other clues I feel like might be too obvious for one of the other people that I am leaning toward her being. But we remember that Skunk had the clue about in the 90s. If she could go back, she'd go back to the 90s. There was someone that she didn't tell goodbye. She let pride stand in her way. And then she didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye to them. So we're thinking like Tupac, Biggie, someone like that, right? And so I looked up, and Taraji P. Henson teamed up with the Tupac Foundation to provide free mental health treatment for people. And so I was like, I mean, it could be Taraji P. Henson. She was most likely friends with Tupac, as I had suspected, and thought that I perhaps recalled hearing that at one point. But it could also, there are also some other people it could be. Now, going back to me once upon a time thinking that this was Pink, Pink is a tomboy. She has stated that she hates to wear heels. I don't know for sure how old she is. I want to say she's probably around 40 now. Alexa, how old is Pink? Okay. So yeah, she's about 40. If you didn't hear that, I'm not going to say her exact age. But so that means that she was born in the late 70s, and her, her life has been kind of tumultuous. She's been through a lot. We may not know who the person is that she did not get the opportunity to say goodbye to because she let pride stand in her way. I don't know if her father is still alive or not. I believe he is. They recorded music together at one point. But her parents, from what I understand, when her and her brother were younger, divorced, and her brother went with her dad and she stayed with her mom. Not at the choice of the kids. That's just the way the parents chose to do it. So I am leaning once again toward possibly Pink for Skunk. She has a great voice. She could sing anything she wanted to. I can think of a couple of songs I would like to hear her sing. But anyway, and my other person I'm going for, which I think it would be too big of a clue, but the bedazzled high tops and iron, which makes me think fashion designer or model, along with the I'm such a man in real life, I'm a tomboy type stuff. Makes me think, I mean, not really the tomboy thing, but I'm such a man in real life thing made me think, well, could this maybe be RuPaul? I don't feel like RuPaul might go on the show because he does have a colostomy bag, which makes it kind of hard for him to perform for very long at all. And there would be the costume and everything, but they could possibly make something to help hold that better. And I was like, I feel like I would recognize his voice just like that. So I was listening to some of his music yesterday, listened to him for about 45 minutes, I believe it was. And I'm like, though a lot of the songs that are on there, the drag queens from RuPaul's drag show, Drag Race, sing on with him. Like I could tell I'm listening to this one. I'm like, that's Latrice Royale. I'm not gonna say his whole name. Anyway, and but I'm listening to him and I'm going like, his voice, like he has a wider variety of ranges than I was thinking he might have, than like the songs that you generally hear, like Cover Girl, though actually quite a bit of range on that one. So I'm going like Skunk could possibly turn out to be RuPaul, which would be awesome. Could turn out to be Pink. It might still be Taraji P. Henson. I'm going, do I feel like this is Queen Latifah? Queen Latifah is a tomboy, but like she likes to dress up pretty, which is like I was trying to find pictures of Taraji P. Henson wearing like sneakers and stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's a few pictures of her wearing like pantsuits or sweatsuits or whatever. But in most of those pictures, she had high heels on. So I'm like, I'm not thinking it's Taraji P. Henson now, though I could turn out to be wrong because that crap happens all the time. Anyway, the number 3 performance that they had in the top 10 of all time, and I do not like this performer, though she did do an excellent job on the show, but I didn't feel like this was one of the ones that she did the best on, was Sun singing, and I wrote down the wrong title. I don't remember what the song was called, but I wrote down Like It Like That because that's most of what it says, but I had used Shazam to look up what the name was, and they told me, but I didn't see it at the time, and yeah, I don't remember what it's actually called, but as we know now, Sun turned out to be Leanne Rimes. I grew new respect for her when she was on The Masked Singer because she is a lot better of a singer than I recall her being. However, they say that she won some kind of an award, a country music award, when she was 14 years old, making her the youngest person to ever win that award. And as most people know, she supposedly started performing when she was 13 years old, according to her mom. But her mom made a fake birth certificate for her, forged her birth certificate, and she was actually 3 years older than her mom said she was, which means when she started performing, she was actually 16 years old, which means if she got an award when they were believing she was 14, she was actually 17. Those are the facts. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I never liked her singing that much. And the number 2 song was Fox, who of course turned out to be Wayne Brady, and he sang Try a Little Tenderness. And I thought it was real funny because I was listening to him performing this song on this show, and I was like, yeah, I like listening to this. I should have totally known that was Wayne Brady. Like, he did the ad lib thing like they do on Whose Line and was using the names of the judges, which I feel like that I did decide that he probably was Wayne Brady before they revealed him. I don't remember for absolutely certain. And then they showed the last wild card, the final wild card of the entire show, which was a beach ball. Not very many clues for her. They said that beach ball is a 6-foot tall sphere. I was looking at it going, it could be someone in a wheelchair. It could be someone that is on crutches currently. It could be more than one person. But it has the puppeteer devices inside of it, of course. And she said that there's a massive clue, which is not for the birds, or well, she said massive clue, and I don't remember something about not for the birds, but anyway, it showed a bedazzled seagull. There were also some starfish lined up on the beach, but it went in toward the seagull. So possibly maybe someone that voiced a seagull in a movie. The seagull was bedazzled. I'm not sure why that would have been. And she said a beach ball and her name are a perfect match. My sister thinks she's Betty White. No. My sister does not think my sister is Betty White. My sister thinks beach ball is Betty White. Anyway, I was like, I mean, we've seen characters in the past that it's like, this is a female or this is a male, and it turns out that that's not what the person is. So I'm going with beach ball and their name being a perfect match. Could this possibly actually really be a guy? And it's Bobby Bones. He can sing. I've heard him sing on stuff before. That would be interesting and a great surprise. Now, the number 1 song of the top 10 of all time was by Monster, who person, who of course turned out to be T-Pain, and he sang "Stay With Me," which he did an excellent job on. So let me know what you think about who I think that these people are. And if you agree, if you disagree, make sure you subscribe, share my videos on your social media. It seemed like there was something else that I was going to say about this episode. The next episode is going to be on November the 2nd, which is Tuesday night, because of the World Series. And I'm like, at least they're showing it this year. They're not like just being like, let's not show the Masked Singer because the World Series is on. I wish I had cable so I could be watching sports, but I don't, so I'm not. But anyway, I am making plans for my next Mystery Mondays video, which I am going to record Monday. I'm going to do that this week again. And I am going to be looking into the 29 cold cases of missing people in the national forests, national parks in the United States. I'm also going to be looking at new information about the Gabby Petito case, if they have come up with anything new concerning brown laundry. I was looking a while ago and they haven't really. I failed to mention on my last Mystery Mondays one that Gabby Petito's case, they said that they would probably have to try and see if they could find Brian Laundrie's DNA on her to find out if he is the one that actually killed her now, which will be hard for them to do since they were in such a close relationship. Like if they find his DNA on her neck or face area or whatever, well, yeah, they were kissing, they were in a relationship. So it's going to be kind of hard for them to be able to do that. Hopefully that notebook turns up something. I don't want to get totally off the topic of the Masked Singer now, but I will also be looking into whether or not there are any updates on the Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner Beck case, which the last I checked, there was not anything really new on it. Of course, they had done a search warrant for phones, and they're trying to get satellite information on that case. I'll also be looking into whether or not there's any new information on the Josue Calderon case, as well as the Robert Bob Lowry case, which I don't think they're going to release any more information on because they posited that he did commit suicide, which sadly happens a lot in the national parks. I feel like that's why a lot of people go missing. Of course, people go off trail to use the bathroom, and they can slip and slide down a huge slope or something also. But I will be trying to do my video for the Masked Singer's Tuesday episode either next Wednesday or next Thursday. I feel like I will probably not do it until Thursday because I watch it on Wednesday because I don't have cable or an antenna. So that's when I will most likely be doing that. Review who I said that I believe these people are. I guess I could go over them again real quick. I don't want these videos to be too long. Gosh, sorry, way too long. Anyway, but right now I am thinking that possibly, I'm still going with Justin Bieber for Caterpillar. I think Pepper is Lisa Kudrow. I have switched on Queen of Hearts and think that she is probably Debbie Ryan from the show Jessie. I am still leaning toward Blake Shelton for Mallard. If you haven't seen the whole video and you want to know why I think these things, go back and watch the video and I explain all of this. For Bull, I am now thinking Channing Tatum. Could possibly be Mario because he was in the Step Up movies, but I'm really leaning heavily toward Channing Tatum now for Bull. Jester, I'm still going with Jack Black. And Banana Split, I'm going with Martin Short and Selena Gomez. Especially let me know what y'all think on that one. Go back and watch why I said that I feel like that's who Banana Split is. And Skunk is the one that now has me totally up in the air. I was pretty sure she was Taraji P. Henson. I still kind of think she sounds like Taraji P. Henson, but I'm more leaning toward possibly Skunk being RuPaul or possibly even Pink. So when the wild card Beach Ball, I am not sure. Could it be the remaining characters that are left in the Beach Boys? I feel like it probably is a woman. It would be cool if, as my sister thinks, it turned out to be Betty White, but I think possibly also it could be Bobby Bones. So we will have to all see, right? The next episode, as I said, comes on November 2nd. I'll be trying to do my video on the 4th. So let me know what you all think. And everyone have a great whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay safe and stay positive.